Hello, friends. Welcome back to English Classes Online. My name is Benjamin. Today's video is on formal letter writing in West African Senior School Certificate Examination English, the secrets. West African Senior School Certificate Examination English Preparatory class. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. There's a red button below tagged subscribe. Just click on it and you will be subscribed to this channel. Is an important thing to do, especially if you are interested in the value we provide on this channel. Try and click on the bell icon as well. You will find a bell icon tagged bell. Of course, you will find the icon of a bell. Just click on it and you will activate the notification system. It means that whenever I upload a new video on the channel, you will receive instant notification. On this channel, we upload videos every week in which we teach English topics, various topics in the English language. And our goal is always to give our viewers the linguistic tools that will help them gain proficiency in the use of English for their everyday communication and also for scoring high in their English exams. We have testimonies from some of our viewers and subscribers who have testified that the videos we upload on this channel have been of use to them. And this actually is our goal. We intend to provide more value to you out there because you are the reason why we are here. In addition to creating videos in English learning, we also create videos in content creation, in digital marketing, and in online business. We share ideas that will help our viewers create multiple streams of income for themselves by starting an online business. And that is the kind of thing we do in this channel. Language is a tool for content creation. And of course, we teach language and we also use language to create content. And we teach our viewers how to create content and also make a living out of it. Having said this, let's dive into today's lesson right away. Let's look at the brief agenda. First, we look at meaning. What is the meaning, or what is a formal letter? Of course, you are conversant with that, but we are going to refresh our minds. Then we look at the features of a formal letter. What are the features of a formal letter? Then we look at the steps to take in writing a formal letter. How do you start and how do you organize a formal letter? We are going to look at the format and the steps to take. Then finally, we look at a sample. I'll walk you through a complete formal letter, which is in answer to a past WAEC question. We want to take a question from past WAEC English questions, and then I show you how to answer such a question if you were to be in a WAEC English exam hall. So let's begin to look at it one by one. First of all, what exactly is a formal letter? Now, another name for a formal letter is an official letter, because it is the kind of letter you write to someone who occupies an official position to get something done or to achieve a specific result. If you are asked to write a letter to the Minister of Agriculture, write a letter to the chairman of your local government, write a letter to the Director of Works, of course, you are writing to someone who occupies an official position. All right? Now, what are the features of a formal letter? Let's look at the features. Now, if you look at this, of course, let me try and use the annotation so that we can look directly at what we are talking about. So these are the features of a formal letter. The first one is the date, all right? Your address and date. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is the designation and full address of the person you are writing to. All right, after your address and date by the right-hand side, then you come to the left margin and you write the designation and full address of the person you are writing to. By the way, designation is the official title. I told you that a formal letter is a letter you write to someone who occupies an official position. So if you are writing to the Minister of Agriculture, his designation is minister, all right? So you address him by the name minister. If it's a chairman of a local government, then you are writing to the chairman, all right? Then the address. Now, feature number 3 is the salutation or greeting. And in most cases, it is either dear sir or dear madam, all right? Then feature number 4 is the title of the letter. Of course, an official letter has a title or a heading. For example, application for the post of a sales manager, or the state, the deplorable or the poor state of our amenities in my community. If you are writing to probably the chairman of your local government. Then feature number 5, the message or the body of the letter. And this is subdivided into 3: the introduction, the body of the letter, and the conclusion. Then after that, you have the subscription or the close, the complementary close. For a formal letter, if you are writing especially in any of these external English exams, there's one acceptable way of, closing your letter, and that is yours faithfully for a formal letter. Now, this is followed by your signature. You have to sign. After yours faithfully, followed by a comma, the next thing is your signature. And after your signature comes your full name, beginning with your surname and followed with your first name. Then this is optional, all right? This is optional. If you are writing on behalf of an organization, maybe you are writing in your capacity or your position as the president of a society or a club or an organization, then of course you have to put also your official position. But as a student, you don't need to put any official position unless you are asked to write that letter in your position as probably as the secretary of your club or society at school. All right. So that is exactly the way to go. And these are the features of, these are the features of a formal letter. I want you to familiarize yourself with them so that whenever you want to write a formal letter, you will know exactly the various parts that must be in place. So let's go to the next step, and that is here we are going to look at point 3 in our agenda, steps to take in writing a formal letter. Of course, let me walk you through the steps and then I show you the sample. We go through it. Now, read the questions carefully. Now, if you are, inside, if you are in an exam hall and then you are giving your question paper, in section A, which is essay writing, you will discover that you are given about 5 different questions, 5 different essay writing questions. Among them, you will find a letter, or at least a letter or 2 letters. One could be formal, the other could be informal. If you choose to write a formal letter, then you read the questions carefully. You need to understand exactly what you have been asked to write, for you to actually win maximum, score maximum marks for content, because, your examiner is going to examine you, based on 4 parameters, all right? 4 parameters. The first one is content, all right? The second one is organization. The third one is expression. And the fourth one is mechanical accuracy. All right, so these are the 4 types, the 4 parameters, the 4 criteria, if you like, for, assessing the quality of your letter or the quality of your essay. So for you to, to win maximum marks, because in content, you have 10 marks, all right? Content has 10 marks, all right? Organization, 10 marks, all right? Expression, 20 marks, all right? Let's move this, let's move this a little bit. Then mechanical accuracy, 10 marks. So all together you have 50 marks. So you need to read the question carefully, understand what you have been asked to discuss for you to win the maximum marks on that content, all right? I will show you other aspects of the letter that will enable you to score marks in other areas like organization, expression, and mechanical accuracy. All right, so let's erase this and then go to our next slide. All right. Now we want to look at a letter, a past question that we are going to use to illustrate how to write a formal letter. And I took this past question from the West African Senior School Certificate Examination of June 2000. And the question reads, write a letter to the director of the Environmental Protection Agency, all right, in your country, complaining about environmental pollution of your area and requesting that urgent action be taken to improve the situation. So this is a letter that you are asked to write. It's a formal letter. How do you know it's a formal letter? Because you are writing to someone who occupies an official position. And who is that person? The director of the Environmental Protection Agency in your country. He occupies this official position and you are writing to him. So that gives you the clue that what you have been asked to write is a formal letter. Now you will find a video I uploaded on the secrets to writing a high scoring essay. You will find a lot, you will gain a lot of these secrets, these keys discussed in that particular video. All right. Now let's look at the next point. Now that you have already seen the letter that you have been asked to write, let's look at the writing process. Before you write, you pre-write. Basically, there are three major stages in writing any meaningful piece of writing. And number one is pre-writing, number two is writing, number three is rewriting. So before you write, you pre-write. The word, the prefix pre means before. You know, the things you do before you write belong to the planning. You know, they belong to what I call the writing plan or the planning stage of your writing. Most students perform poorly in their English exams because they started failing in the essay writing. And the problem lies in, you know, failing to plan. As the saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Some people just jump into writing a letter or writing an article or writing a speech without any planning whatsoever. And that is a recipe for writing a very poor letter or whatever you are writing. So you want to take a little time and plan before you write. So the first thing you do is to brainstorm. And when you brainstorm, you generate ideas for your letter. And the outcome of this is creating an outline. Now, this is simple. You just jot down the points in, you know, a rough sheet of paper. If you are in an exam hall, obviously nobody will allow you to come in with a sheet of paper. So you use the last page or one of the last pages of your answer booklet and use it to jot down the points, after which you cancel it out neatly. It is acceptable in every exam. Now, an outline is a list of the main points you are going to discuss in your writing. Now, for example, you have seen the letter we are asked to write. Now, you have seen the letter we are asked to write. You are asked to write a letter to the director of the Environmental Protection Agency in your country, complaining about the environmental pollution of your area and requesting that urgent action be taken to improve the situation. So our outline will be based on what we have been asked to write. And what we are asked to write here is, you know, one, complaining about the environmental pollution, which means you have to mention the problem, and then requesting that urgent action be taken to improve the situation. So you will jot down the points, and we can see some points that we have jotted down here. Now, once you give it a thought, you think about it. To brainstorm means to think about what you are going to write so that you generate ideas. You know, once you think, you focus your attention on the topic or the content or the subject matter, the ideas will come flowing naturally into your mind, and then you put them down, you jot them down on a sheet of paper. Now, so having thought about it, the first point we want to talk about in this letter is lack of refuse and waste disposal system, because we are talking of, environmental pollution. Why the area is in a mess? It's because of lack of refuse and waste disposal system. All right. So when we state the cause of the pollution, then we will be able to ask for the solution. So first we identify the problem, and then we ask for the solution. Then the second point is lack of drainage channels. All right. No drainage channels in the community. So when there is rainfall, everywhere is is flooded and all that. Then the third point we want to talk about is air pollution from uncontrolled smoke and fumes from factories and houses, So we want to talk about all these as factors that have brought about environmental pollution within our community. So you need to plan your answer logically. And this is where you are going to win maximum marks in organization. I discussed the features, the parts of the letter, your ability to organize, know where your address should be, the recipient's address, where the date should be, and then you will also know the kind of greeting and where to put it, the topic or the heading, then how to organize your first, paragraph. So you see exactly, dear sir or madam, okay, and then yours faithfully, your full name, these are the things we discussed. So you need to get this thing well organized. That is really very important. Now, the next thing you need to know is that you need to enrich your introductory paragraph for content, because as I have always explained, if you search or browse through the description section, you will find various videos that I have uploaded on essay writing, on article writing, story writing, and I've always insisted that if you want to score high in your English exam, if you are going to sit for WAEC, NECO, NAPTEP, or any other school certificate examination, you need to ensure that you enrich your first paragraph. I will show you the essential ingredients that this first paragraph should contain. Now, these are the 5 essential ingredients that a good introductory paragraph should contain. All right. Number 1 is the hook. Number 2, the background information. Number 3, the thesis. Number 4, enumeration. Number 5, intro. I will explain this to you as when we get into the sample. All right. It will be better for me to explain this practically to you than to just give you theoretical explanation. Now, the next thing you need to do is to discuss your key points in the body paragraphs. Your introduction, which is the first paragraph, is to present the subject for discussion, just to announce that this is what your letter is all about. All right. That is why it is called the introductory paragraph. But after that, the key points you are going to discuss them in the body of the letter, which begins with paragraph 2. Now, this is what the body of your letter should actually address, all right? It is in the body of the letter you discuss the key points, as I earlier mentioned, and you have to organize them into different paragraphs. You can see in paragraph 2, you discuss point 1. I showed you the outline. We have already in our outline, our first point is lack of refuse and you know, lack of refuse refuse disposal system. This problem is one of the major causes of environmental pollution in the community. So we want to discuss this in paragraph 2. Then in paragraph 3, we discuss point 2. And in our point 2, we are talking about lack of proper drainage channels. Then in paragraph 4, we discuss point 3. You know, you need to understand that in these external exams such as WAEC, NECO, NAPTEP, you are always required to discuss at least 3 major points. So when you write any essay or letter or article, make sure you discuss at least 3 main points in your essay. So that is exactly one of the secrets of scoring high. Then another thing you need to understand, another secret of, you know, scoring high or writing a high scoring formal letter is to use simple language. You don't need to bite more than you can chew. Nobody is going to give you high marks because you are using high sounding words. No, use simple but meaningful words that will communicate your ideas in a very meaningful and convincing manner. And this will help you to win maximum marks under expression, because like I told you, expression carries 20 marks. So you need to ensure that you express your ideas well. All right, that is another secret I'm going to show you. Then, you know, this is how to handle it. Okay, expression carries 20 marks, as I already said. I also already discussed this with you. Content carries 10 marks, organization 10 marks, expression 20 marks, mechanical accuracy 10 marks. Well, let's proceed. The next secret is that you need to end your letter with a clear call to action. This is in line with what the examiner has asked you to do. The examiner has said that you should complain about the environmental pollution in your community and then request for a solution to that problem. So that is where you are going to come with a clear call to action. All right, so then the conclusion is the last part of your letter. In your last paragraph, this is where you sum up or bring together what you have been saying. There are different ways to do it, or a combination of ways. You can summarize the main points. You can re-emphasize your thesis. I'm going to show you what thesis means, because it's one of the 5 essential ingredients that the introductory paragraph should contain. Then you make a clear call to action, as earlier stated, that it is actually is mandatory because the examiner asks you to do it, and your obedience, you know, your obedience to or compliance with the examiner's instruction, clear instruction in the question, is what will win you maximum marks. Then the 4th ingredient that is necessary for your concluding paragraph is to leave a lasting impression. All right. You sometimes, if you are writing an article or an essay or a speech, you might come with maybe a quotation or a statement that will actually leave a lasting impression on the minds of your audience. Okay, so let's now look at the next secret. You must be sure that you proofread your work. This is really very important because this will enable you not to lose marks. This will save you from losing marks under mechanical accuracy. Mechanical accuracy has to do with, you know, those errors associated with writing. You know, how well you are able to write an error-free letter. You know, you need to correct all the errors so that you don't lose marks under mechanical accuracy. For example, if you have any error of grammar, you lose half a mark. If you have any spelling error, you lose half a mark. Where you are supposed to put a comma and you don't, you lose half a mark. Now, if there's a word you are supposed to begin with a capital letter, but you begin it with a small letter, you lose half a mark, or vice versa. All right, so that's exactly the way it is. You have to be sure that you get it right. So, okay, so the next thing we want to look at this question once again, and then we get into the actual process. Now, here you are asked to write a letter to the director of the Environmental Protection Agency in your country, complaining about environmental pollution of your area and requesting that urgent action be taken to improve the situation. So here we want to look at the sample of the letter in order to show you exactly how you can write one. So now here you see that this is your address. I want you to take note. You know, here you have the option as a student, you can use the address of your school, or you can use the address of your house. Because a letter is a letter and a letter must have an address. The important thing is for you to ensure that you write all the parts of your address correctly. Here we have 11 Sabo Street. Now note the comma after the number here, and note the comma after street. Ojo, then comma, Lagos State, full stop. You can see, you know, because we are writing the letter to someone within the country, so it's logical that we end with the state. If you are writing a letter to someone outside your country, then you need to also include your country name. And if you are doing that, after state, you have a comma, then you put your country and you put a full stop. So, but here we have ended our address with Lagos State, so we put a full stop. Now, take note also of how we, you know, how the date is written. July 20, 2021, full stop. So you can see. Now, in writing this kind of address, here we have used what is called the block style, which you can see is, you know, on a vertical line. If you are writing probably a friendly letter, then you can use the slanting form, but it is not acceptable to use the slanting form for an official or formal letter. All right. So then the next thing is the receiver's designation and full address. So here, if you don't know the address of the person you are writing to, you invent one. What is important is an address that is well presented. That's what the examiner wants from you. So this is really not a real address to any environmental protection agency director. We just invented the address here, knowing where we are likely to find such a person. All right. So here we write the director, Environmental Protection Agency, PMB 500, Gariki, Abuja. Note the punctuation here. Now, after this, the next thing is the salutation. And we choose to write dear sir. You can write dear sir or dear madam. All right. So, but here we decide to use dear sir, and this is followed with, you know, the the title or the heading. There are two ways of writing your title. You know, this is one of it. This is what I call the total capitalization method. You write everything in capital letters. Environmental pollution in Ojo, all right? Now, there is an alternative method that you can use in presenting your, let me show you that. If you are writing your, well, let me try and put it here, okay? Just to show you, you don't have to write two headings, but I just want to show you the second type of heading and the rules that apply. Now, of course, I want you to know that, okay, well, let me do this before actually. So you can see here, I have observed a particular rule here. Sorry. Well, let me just put the underline right away, because when you write like this, you have to underline. So in this case, what you do is to underline, all right? Well, this is not accepting underline here. Well, let me erase this, okay, and use the other way to show this to you. Okay, let's do away with this, and then let me use the arrow. So when you do this, then what you need to do is that you are going to underline it like this. So if you use this style of presenting your heading or title, you need to underline it. If you use the total capitalization method, you use capital letters for everything, you don't need to underline. You can see that this is not underlined. But there are certain rules you need to observe here. In presenting your title in this format, you need to ensure that the first word in your title begins with a capital letter. Then the second rule is that every key word or content word begins with a capital letter, and every function or grammatical word is written in small letters. Now, what do we mean by content word? The word environmental here is an adjective. Pollution is a noun. Ojo is a noun. Words like that, nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, these words should all be capitalized. But smaller words, which are called grammatical words, such as in is a preposition. If you have an article like a or an or the, or any of the auxiliary verbs, or a conjunction like and or with, and, or maybe but, or so, so such conjunctions. So lesser words or grammatical or function words are written in small letters. So I advise my students to use the one that is easier for them. Probably if it's easier for you to just write everything in capital letters, you do that, but you don't need to underline it. If you decide to use this method, then you underline it, all right? So let me erase this so that you will understand that you don't need to write the two. You only pick one and you write it just as we have done here. Now, we have written an address, then we have gotten the address, the designation and address of the receiver. We have also come with our salutation and the heading. The next thing is the first paragraph. And this is what I want you to understand. The underlined sentences here represent the essential ingredients that an introductory paragraph should contain when you really want to win maximum marks. The first thing is the subject matter. Well, let me try and list this here. Okay, let me list this here. The first thing is the subject matter. All right. Then the second thing is the thesis. All right. Then the third thing is the enumeration. All right. Within the subject matter, in some cases, we could subdivide this into a hook and, the hook and the background information. Let me use BI to represent that, hook and background information. But here in this simple letter, we are not going into so much details. Once you capture the subject matter, that's exactly what the examiner wants. Then you must have a thesis. And then the fourth one, after the thesis, you have your enumeration. And the fourth one is the intro. All right. So you can see that you may not have all of them, but they are all important. If you are able to capture them, you win more marks because the examiner, you are showing the examiner that you have learned how to write professionally. All right. So now let's examine how these essential ingredients have been used here. Now, let's read. I wish to draw your attention to the environmental pollution that is threatening the health of the people in my area, Ojo in Lagos State. You have stated the subject matter. Now, you need to understand that a formal letter is different from a personal or friendly or informal letter. An informal letter is a letter you write to someone with whom you share a personal relationship. So you can begin by exchanging pleasantries, inquiring about the person's health, how are you, and all that. In a formal letter, you don't need that. You go straight to the point, and that is why another name for a formal letter is a business letter, because it is business-like in its approach. You go right into the purpose of writing the letter without beating about the bush. Now, the second thing we write here is there are a number of factors responsible for the pollution in my area, and I believe that examining them will enable us to find the right solution to the problem. This is the thesis. You see, what the examiner has told you to do is to simply complain about the environmental pollution in your area. The thesis is the exact manner in which you want to do this. That is your thesis. What the thesis does is that it enables you to narrow a broad topic into a narrow and manageable one. What you want to talk about the pollution in your area is that you want to talk about what causes the pollution and the solution you want. All right, so which tallies with exactly what the examiner wants. So your thesis should always be a direct response to what we call the writing prompt. The writing prompt is exactly what the examiner has asked you to discuss. All right. So let's look at the next thing, which of course is our enumeration. You see, we have taken care of the subject matter. We have taken care of the thesis. Now, the next thing is the enumeration. How do we get our enumeration? From our outline, where we jotted down the points. We want to, an enumeration is derived from the word enumerate. To enumerate is to give a list of something, all right? Now, let's read. The most critical of these factors are lack of a proper system of refuse and waste disposal, lack of drainage channels, air pollution owing to uncontrolled smoke and fumes from the factories and residential houses. You see, you have listed those things you want to discuss. You know, so what happens here is that you are using a style of writing that I discussed in one of the essay writing videos I uploaded, and that is the inverted pyramid style of writing. You know, I discussed that when I created a video on the secrets of writing an article that scores high. You know, so and the inverted pyramid style of writing is a journalistic style of writing, because when people write articles, they are thinking about the readers, you know, to get the readers interested in the article. And so they incorporate the key points, you know, in the first paragraph. And then, so now the next thing we need to do is the intro. And the intro is just meant to announce that you are through with your introductory. I mean, you are through with presenting your introduction, and you now want to move over to the next paragraph. Now, let's examine how the intro can be presented. In the following paragraphs, I will discuss these factors one by one and also suggest ways of remedying the ugly situation. Now, the intro has enabled us to actually give a clear picture of everything we want to present, because we want to highlight the fact that we are adhering to the examiner's instruction. All right. So that is exactly what the intro does. And then with this, we now move over to the body of, we now move over to the body of the letter. We are through with the introduction. All right. And then the next thing now will be the body. And this is paragraph 2. To start with, there is no proper system of refuse disposal in the area. This is a topic sentence. So what happens is that, you know, we have lined up the points we want to discuss. Now, let's remind ourselves of those points, you know, in our outline. The first one is drainage system. Sorry. Okay. Refuse and well, let's just call this refuse system. Lack of refuse system. The second one, drainage channels. Lack of drainage channels. The third one is uncontrolled smokes and fumes from houses and factories. Okay, these are the problems. So what we do is that we take the first point and we discuss it in paragraph 2. We take the second point, we discuss it in paragraph 3. We take the third point, we discuss it in paragraph 4 as earlier discussed. And then when we take the first point, we can start our first sentence with what we call a topic sentence. A topic sentence is a sentence that presents the main idea we want to discuss in a particular paragraph. And this is what we have done here. Take note of the transition we have used here. The use of transition is also very important. Either you write first of all, or to start with, or in the first place, so just a transition to indicate, to show the order of your discussion. All right. Okay, so to start with, there is no proper system of refuse and waste disposal in the area. You have just indicated the problem. Then you use a few more sentences to just, develop the points you have raised. So how do we discuss this? Now we say, as a result, people dump their refuse and waste materials on the streets and in the gutters. You see, we are painting a picture of how this causes pollution in the area. The situation is such that all nooks and crannies of the area are littered with refuse, and this constitutes serious danger to health. So you have painted a clear picture of how this constitutes serious environmental pollution in your area. Okay, so let's now move over to the next page, and then we discuss other paragraphs. Okay. Then we come to the third paragraph and we discuss point 2. Remember our point 2, all right, which is drainage channels. And how do we put it? We begin again with a topic sentence. And we say here, another problem is that the gutters and canals in the area are always filled with fields, owing to the fact that there are no proper drainage channels. You see, this is the second point you are discussing, and you have started it quite appropriately with a topic sentence. Now, once you have written your topic sentence indicating the main points, the key point you are discussing in this paragraph, then of course you can see that this is topic sentence for paragraph 3, not paragraph 2. All right, so I want you to take note of that. This is actually a typo here. This is paragraph 3. Then we discuss other things to develop or drive home the point. Apart from giving out stinking and offensive odor, these filthy gutters, canals, and other stagnant pools of water in various parts of the community are breeding places for mosquitoes and larvae, which expose the people to the attack of malaria and other disease-causing bacteria and viruses. You see, you are actually giving the director of the Environmental Protection Agency a picture of the problem, the kind of problem that people face in your area. How is it a problem? You state the cause, you state the effects, all right? Now, we move on to the next paragraph, and this is where we discuss our point number 3 for paragraph 4, all right? Okay. Well, yes, we already discussed point 1 in paragraph 2, then we've discussed point 2 in paragraph 3, we are moving on to paragraph 4. So this again is another typo. This is paragraph 4. Then we start as usual with our topic sentence. The problem is even compounded by the serious pollution of air with clouds of smoke and fumes coming from some factories in the area, coupled with the generators in houses, shops, and offices, which also constantly fill the air with exhaust fumes. All right, so this is topic sentence for paragraph 4. Then we drive home the message by saying that this is detrimental to the lives of the people or to the health of the people. Okay. Now, having discussed these problems, we are to recommend a solution. We are requesting for a solution that this problem be solved. All right. So what do? Then we say, to remedy this ugly situation, the state disposal board should get its agents in the area to wake up to their job of clearing the town of refuse. This is recommendation number 1. This is a solution to the first problem we outlined. Then you say, alternatively, they can partner private companies to ensure serious commitment to the job. Then we come with the second recommendation, which is a solution to the second problem we raised. The government must construct proper drainage channels to ensure that gutters and canals are regularly drained. This is the second recommendation. You see, everything you put down in your formal letter should be in line with the content that the examiner has asked you to discuss. You don't just write whatever comes to your mind. You plan it and ensure that you discuss exactly what the examiner has asked you to discuss. Then the third recommendation is this solution to our third problem that we raised already and discussed in previous paragraphs. And here we say factories should be compelled to have well-constructed chimneys, while private houses and shops should be compelled to use pipes or devices to ensure that the smokes or fumes from their generators are carried up away from the people within the vicinity. You see, you have provided solution. And then finally, you now come with your concluding words, and you say, I believe that if the above recommendations are looked into and promptly implemented, the problem of environmental pollution in Ojo will be solved to the relief of all the residents. And then you close by saying thanks. All right. Again, you see that the formal letter doesn't give room for saying extend my greetings to this or to that. No, but it's acceptable for you to say thanks or to say thank you. All right. Then the appropriate subscription is, yours faithfully. Then you put your signature here. All right. Your signature should come here. All right. Then you close with your full name. Is a mark, full stop. All right. So this is exactly how to write a formal letter. We have discussed the secrets, the key things that you need to do in order to really get it right. And I hope that you have really learned the appropriate way to write a formal letter. I hope you enjoyed today's video. We have been discussing formal letter writing in West African Senior School Certificate Examination English. We have shared the secrets with you, the keys, to writing a high-scoring formal letter. If you have enjoyed today's video, like the video and share the video with your friends and relations. If you have a friend or relation or associate who is going to sit for any of these exams, WAEC, NECO, or NAPTEP, or any other senior school certificate examination, do them a favor by sending them a link, sharing a link, sharing this video with them so that they will watch this video and learn the secrets of, scoring high in their exam. I am sure they will be very grateful to you for doing them this favor. If you have not subscribed to this channel, the time has come for you to ensure you click the subscribe button so that you will be subscribed to the channel. Remember to click on the notification bell. You will see the bell icon. Click on it as well so that whenever a new video goes live on this channel, you will be instantly notified. I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have been part of today's episode. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye for now and remain blessed. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you